So on Thursday evening, myself, Chris Pearson and Auntie Heather, we were at Sparrenburg Castle in Bielefeld for a very special evening. It was Brigadier Ian Bell's annual Anglo-German reception. Now, Heather, I was at the bottom of the castle doing a little bit of Facebook Live in. Couldn't see you anywhere. Where were you?
I was at the top of the castle tower chatting to HQBFG's very own piper, Davy Moyer, amongst the turrets.
Just played a little tune following Sunset, which was played by the band of the Royal Corps of Signals, and I followed up their Sunset with a little pipe tune called Sunset over the Bays of Harris.
How does it make you feel, stood here on the top of this tower and with these remarkable views at sunset, to be playing with such an audience down below?
It's quite emotional because in 2015 I was diagnosed with 2 brain tumours, and thanks to some nifty German engineering just the other side of the tower there in the Gilead Hospital, I've been sorted out. And with my time in hospital, this tower was framed in my hospital window. So yeah, it's pretty emotional. And since then, I've had to kind of really start again with my piping. I've lost dexterity and the odd memory issue and what have you. So every note's a bonus as far as I'm concerned.
And it was actually piping that made you realise that you had a brain tumour, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I had no other physical symptoms really, and there's a gradual loss in dexterity and memory of tunes and stuff, which I put down to lack of practice. And I tried to practice harder and I didn't get any better, and it started to get steadily worse and steadily worse and steadily worse until it got to the point where I really was struggling to play at all. And I took the chanter in to see the medical officer and said, "What do you make of this?" And my fingers were moving all by themselves without any conscious effort from me. And he said, "Oh, you need to go and see the neurologist."
And what happened after you saw the neurologist? What happened then?
Well, she was great, Dr. Rauschenpuller. She studied medicine at Edinburgh, knew all about the tattoo and piping and stuff. So I took the chanter in with me. She had the same reaction as Dr. Rowland and said, "Oh, right, you need a scan. Best you get over to the Gilead." And I was dispatched over there, had a scan, and the doctor there said, oh, well, there we are, look, there's the problem. You've got a brain tumour. In fact, you've got 2. But don't worry, we'll sort you out. And
they did. And was it quite a long process then?
Yeah, it was to where I am now, probably about 9 months. It was a while before I could take up the pipes physically, and then a lot of my sort of fingering issues were rectified, but still dexterity issues and coordination issues. And as I say, every note's a bonus, whether it's meant to be there or not.
You could not tell at all the story that you've just told me now from how you were playing the pipe, so it makes today even more special, and it must be a very, very emotional time for you. This isn't the first time you've played here either, is it? What happened last year when you were playing?
Well, last year was my first official function on the pipes following the operation, and pretty much the same procedure as this year. Ready to play a lament at the end of Sunset, which was played by the band of Her Majesty's Irish Guards. As the tune before Sunset, I was just walking around the tower and I noticed that the helicopter ambulance was rotors were starting to go round, and by the time they started Sunset, the crew were starting to embark. I realised then that the timing was going to be pretty much dead on by the time the Irish Guards finished Sunset and I started the lament, that they would take off. And indeed, just as I started the lament, the helicopter appeared behind me over the tower.
And it's a pretty tall tower. I don't actually know how high this tower is.
Let's just say it's 120 steps.
They were hard steps to climb, weren't they? Right. But you virtually ran up those, so you cannot tell how the story you've just told me about how poorly you were, that certainly not affected your fitness, because I was dragging behind.
Oh, well, you see, I was just worried that you'd be kicking up my kilt.